All right, back up at the barn in the UP. Got some upper cabinets installed. The install isn't completely done and I got a few more to go. But I figured I'd show you what I got. And then after I show you that, I got some clips of how I made these. All right, so let's take a look at them. Oh, a bear! Ah, actually, that's just little Joe. He just likes to hang around. I know, he's pretty crude, but I had to add him because as I was building these things in my garage, I'm sitting there looking at, because this is one of them first cutoff pieces when you're making boards, and I was looking at that laying in the corner because it was a piece that was just too good to throw away. And I'm like, man, I should cut a hole in that and make a bear. Well, the problem was I didn't have time to like fully carve a cool bear because it's like 10 o'clock on a Friday night when I came up with this idea. And I was going to leave for up here Saturday morning at 8. So I looked around. I had a 2x6, or was it a 2x8? I can't quite recall. The Colorado Kool-Aid was flowing good. But either way, I cut his head out of 2x material. Now I'm going to say it was a 2x8. Then I cut his beak out, and his paws in here are 1x material, and his feet are 1x material. So basically just cut them out, spray bond them before I went to bed, and then in the morning I added the eyes and a little touch-up paint and nailed them up. So he's only, you know, kind of 2D, but I figure there's gonna be a hood here probably, or another cabinet, depending, because we're gonna put a stove here. So I'm not sure what'll be next to him, but I just wanted to close it off even with the window. All right, enough about him. I know he's crude, but he makes me smile, and that was his whole job, and he succeeded. All right, the rest of these cabinets, let's get down to the brass tacks here on my mistakes. All right, like this one, measured a little off. All right, so this cabinet, the top frame sits a little taller. Oops, gonna get that every now and then. But if you're noticing how this one sits out further, that's not a mistake. I was sitting there and I've never seen that in person. I know it exists. I got Google. I looked on Google, seen all kinds of pictures. But in person, I've never seen where the cabinet, one of the cabinets stuck out further. So I'm like, I'm going to do that as an experiment, see if I like it. And I like it. All right, what else? All right, these doors. Now, a lot of these boards, this tree was a curved tree. So you'd cut the boards off. And sometimes when you'd release the board from the cant, the board would like spring up. That's how much tension they had in them. So it wasn't necessarily the greatest boards to work with. And just building it out of cedar, you know, cedar's perfectly fine to work with, but it's so soft and it's splintery, right? Like a chunk may just decide, all right, that's it, I'm coming off. And that's what you got, man. You got a chunk missing then. Let's see if I can find, there's one right there. All right, like that chunk just broke off, man. But no one will ever notice, and I don't care. I don't care. All right, so with the springiness, all right, with some of the boards wanting to curve, I ended up putting these on, all right? That's just white pine that I milled here also, but put them on, and underneath here, to make these doors, I actually pocket holed and glued these boards together, and then I put these on over the pocket holes. So if I was gonna do that different, say, and I was working with this wood, I would probably use some flat stock metal. You know, I think it would look cool, and it would hold the door straighter better. But you run the risk of cracks. You know, you put metal on wood, and the wood wants to move, and the metal not so much, eh? So you get cracks. But that's what I would probably try on my next one. You know, maybe I'd slot the metal. You know, maybe that's what I'd do. Make the hole a little oversized, allow for some movement, but still keep it from moving like that. All right, another mistake. Whoa, staring right at us right here. All right, so if you look under here, under most of these, I got cedar cutoffs, you know, finishing it off. All right, even under here, obviously I don't have my trim done yet. But yeah, cedar cutoffs. Here, I forgot it. So basically I'm just gonna cut some, put a 45 on it, and then cut it and nail it up. But I don't have any brad nails here or glue, so I couldn't do that this time. Another mistake I made, measurement error. I overhung my window frame. You're gonna get that, 1/2 inch, too long. That just makes it another challenge for me doing my trim around the window, and I like challenges, so I accept it. Hey, I accept the challenge. All right, now you may be looking at these wall boards. All right, wow, look at that gap. Boy, what kind of hack is this dude? All right, so basically my thought is, from the beginning, I used boards here that were less than ideal in this section. Well, why would you do that? People can see it, you might say. Well, I'm gonna rip some cedar boards, and there'll be a trim piece running down in between here. All right, when that's done, and then there'll be a trim piece right there, and then there'll be a piece of cedar going along covering these cracks, okay? And the reason I wanted to do that was to mend, you know, that cedar. I want to tie it all together, with this being cedar, that being pine. I wanted to mix the worlds, I guess. I thought that would look better. All right, so the knobs are just branches that I cut down with a Dremel. These I just got a screw in instead of like over here. You see a big carriage bolt on these. Woo! A first aid kit, like a guy ever really hurts himself. All right, so shelving wise, all right, I got a little Craig jig. You drill 5/16 holes in there. All right, I didn't even vacuum these out yet. You're gonna get that, and then you just buy the pins. I bought these at Menards. Slide the pins in, tap them in with a hammer, and just a piece of white pine sitting on top of there. All right, so yeah, same thing. All right, these I didn't have to do anything. I really should clean these, shouldn't I? That's what the wife's for. She'll take care of that for me. And hinges, these are I really like this style of hinge. All right, it's about as simple as you can get. You just jam it on the board wherever you want it, screw it, and then basically I was just squaring it up by measuring the door, and then you put them screws in. But in wood like this, you want to pre-drill it, because you hit one of the lines, the rings, and it'll make your screw weeble wobble, and it's hard to get a straight door if you let your screw weeble wobble. Weeble wobble, no good. All right, other thing that's gonna happen here is along the top, I got a ton of scraps, so I'm gonna, in my free time, cut some trees. All right, you know, maybe a foot tall. Just cut the silhouette of pine trees, right? And then behind it, I'm gonna put a red rope light as like a night light. You know, nothing real bright, but just something that glows red, because like you look out that window, that's the one the sunset is. And I think it would look cool having red glowing behind the silhouette of these pine trees. So that's what I'm gonna do, because, you know, because it's mine and I can. And on that cabinet there, I don't know if I touched on that, but that one, I'm building it right now. I bought one of them electronic locks and then 2 gas struts, and it's gonna be where you can open it electronically, and the top will flip open, and then I might have a boomstick in there, you know, just for something cool. But it ain't built yet, so I don't know why I'm even talking about it. But anyhow, there's my overview on these cabinets I just installed.
Does that guy ever stop rambling on? Sit back young grasshopper and I shall describe the build. First one must cut a 1/4 inch groove in the back of each panel. Actually first one must cut out all the panels, but this guy is constantly hitting the wrong button on the camera and losing footage. Oh pretty. Wise men say he who pre-drill, avoid splits and misalignment. Fun to build box, I recommend buying the good plywood, $10 difference at Home Depot, and way easier to work with. At least for an inexperienced cabinet builder like me. The 2 pieces to screw this thing to a wall. It's a sturdy cabinet, I'm probably going to try and hide in it if a tornado comes. I definitely used 3/4 plywood for the top support, on some of the bottoms I used regular boards. Making a little sacrifice to make sure I have enough plywood, one my project cut list I would have been a little short, this saved me buying another sheet. I see a red door and I want to paint it black. I got some water-stained 1/4 inch plywood on the chip, so the interiors got painted black to hide it. Did you ever wonder who is chewing on metal frames that some have a warning about lead paint and not to chew on them? Who looks at a bicycle frame and wonders what it tastes like? I like my pocket holes, what can I say? What no skill needed. And it's still strong, son of a gun, sign me up. Free wood, it's like a sawdink, hard to beat. You have to be careful who you offer it to though. I asked the lady at the store if she wanted some free wood and she slapped me. I didn't even tell her what kind of tree it was from, not sure why she got so mad. I could really use a trip through a planer. My side profile is getting a little thick. Plain to see this board was a little crooked. Finally a square board. What shall we hide behind this door? It could be chips, candy, popcorn, soda, water, soup, edible panties, cereal, crackers. Maybe a mirror. I seen a movie once where behind every cabinet door was a mirror. Maybe it was a Twilight Zone episode. My memory fails me, but I remember it being creepy. This is not Star Trek, we have to prevent the warp. The entire success of the build hinges on this part. Being the first one in my family to walk upright. Squaring this up was an achievement. Now wait a second, is this out of order? Yet it is slightly out of order, or is it? It is like chicken and egg dilemma, which came first? Seed or plant, apple or tree, man or woman, wait, never mind, that one's easy. Craig jig to drill shelf pin holes. Extremely easy way to get this completed. No measuring needed. It is very satisfying to see the color of wood with a finish on it. It was odd that the bottom cabinets had a very different color even though the trees came out of the same woodlet.
Alright, I'll show you how I'm putting these upper cabinets up. The first one, I screwed a 2x4 across into the window framing, leveled it, set this on top of it, and screwed it down. So this is actually two of them. And this one I actually made proud of this one by like what, 2 inches? Just because I wanted to see how it looked. Now this one I'm going to install is going to be set back also. And I screwed two 2x4 blocks up into the window framing. The only issue with these is they're kind of angled a little upwards. So we'll see, we'll find out together how good this is going to work. I may have to space them down or something. Either that or window trim will cover it. Alright. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I had a couple Colorado Kool-Aids to soothe the nerves, so don't worry. I think we got this. Alright. I don't know if I should add a third board here. Kind of a heavy devil. It's kind of heavy. Oh, I kind of need a ladder too, don't I? Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, pants on the ground, pants on the ground. Let's ram a screw in to there if we can. Just to kind of steady it a little bit here. Please hold. Alright. Pull the pants up. I believe we're sucked back against. Alright. Crisis averted. We got our level. We got our ladder.
Camera died.
We got a screw. And this end can go up just a hair. Which I believe we can do. Whoa! Easy, easy. Alright. Pressure. Oh, wow. Wow. perfect. Just like downtown. Wow. That's kind of heavy, actually. Going with 6 screws into the frame of the window. And then there's going to be some screws into the stud up higher. But I couldn't pre-drill those because I didn't know where the studs were exactly. I'm going to eyeball it. Well, there he is. He's kind of crude, but he makes me smile, and that's all he has to do. Basically, I made him out of a 2x6. Like I said, it was like a last-minute thing. I got a bunch of these cuts from the first cut I make on the sawmill, and as I was building these cabinets, I kept eyeballing them, and I'm like, man, you know, it'd be cool if I cut a hole in there and had a little bear cub head poking out. That's what that is, if you can't tell. It's a little, supposed to be a little bear cub. Pretty crude, but he's made out of 2x6. All right. So basically I cut a 2x6 in the shape of his head, and then I cut another section out of it for his beak, and I screwed that to his head part. And I had to cut another section to spacer the head out so the head would clear the log. And then I used 1x material. He's got 2 paws in there, and then he's got 2 feet hanging down. And no, it's not supposed to be super realistic or anything like that. It's just supposed to make you smile, man. People don't smile enough, and that makes me smile. Well, that means I got one more cabinet to go here. Got this one. And I got one more that I'm building at home, and that one's going to be pretty cool if it turns out. I don't know yet. I haven't even built the box yet, but I got all the parts. It's going to be a long cabinet, and it's got electronic lock that I bought off of Amazon, and then 2 gas struts. So hopefully I can get that thing to open up automatically. But, you know, it's a little made in China lock, and sometimes those things you got to like push them, and you know, the tension from the gas spring, sometimes it puts too much on the electronic lock and it won't let it open. So we'll see if we can find the sweet spot and get that thing to work automatically. But worst case scenario, guy has to reach over and pull it open. But, you know, if you're trying to get something out of a cabinet, you got to go over by it anyhow. So I guess that's not the biggest deal. We'll see how it turns out. I'll make a video of making it, but I don't want to get too excited because I got to see it work first. I got to see it first. All right, enough jabbering on that. I got one more cabinet here to go, and we'll get that bad boy mounted right there.
That's all, folks. Thanks for watching.